Alright, we'll make this the planting video, but we'll just do a little bit of 101 back again from the NPC taming. So just note that the health bar, as you can see on the top, is halfway when you've grabbed him and thrown him back on the rack. He will rapidly drain food until his health bar is full, like your player does. So as you can see, his health is just going tick, 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 tick up, and his food is going down, 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 down quite fast. So you have to be vigilant and nearby so that you can feed him, because currently in the game there is no feature for NPCs to feed them, even though they've got their own food here, which they could, even if you put it in his inventory and said, alright mate, here you go, here's some extra little goodies like I've got, give him food. And then you would assume that he would feed the prisoner that he's taking care of, but he doesn't. He just sits there and has his little chat with him and tells him naughty naughty until he becomes my mate. So let's get onto the planting video. So planting 101, you're going to want to just grind it out with an iron hoe. You can collect iron hoes very easily just by killing NPCs in the camps. When you do follow my NPC farming videos, you just go around and just farm some camps, and eventually you'll get iron hose, stone hose, all kind of hose. Hose are great. But no, so what you've got to do, essentially, get yourself a well, build yourself some farmland, or take over a farm. Then you get some lovely seeds. We're going to use we're not going to use common seed, we're going to use low quality wheat, because that's what I need at the moment, is just some low quality wheat. Our two-handed sickle we can't use at the moment because we're just not at that stage, but it'll be your best friend late game. So basically all you're doing for the planting skill, which is there, to gain hoe your land and gather. I made a video on this before. As you can see, it's a lot less laggy than it was in the other video before, which I was just avidly trying to show how laggy it was in the other video with no sound. But I'm gaining proficiency quite quickly just by hoeing it. Every other hit does miss, it seems, which is still a little bit laggy, but essentially you've got to get the soil porosity, which is what it's going up: 4%, 4.9, 5.3, 5.9, 6.5, right? So you got to get that to a certain percentage now based on your crop. So right now, if you hover over the low quality wheat, you can see that the soil porosity required is 30, right? The moisture required is dot, 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 dot. So each single bean, I guess, or seed, you could say, requires all of those resources in that list: green manure, organic fertilizer, ash fertilizer, moisture. So in the tree, now while we're talking and digging away, hoeing away, you can see it has green manure values, organic fertilizer values, ash fertilizer values. Now those values will go down and up depending on if you're putting fertilizer into the crops. As it says down the bottom, fertilize times 0 out of 400, because what you can do, I'm not doing it at the moment because someone else takes care of that. But there's fertilizers in here. We'll do some just to show you what the go is. Essentially, when you fertilize a crop, all you have to do is put it in your number 1 slot or whatever slot, and you can see here it's boosting the stats up. And because it's compost, because that was crude compost, it boosts all of the stats, and it puts it into the unspent fertilizers. Now, if all of my fertilizers were maxed, like the green manure is, you would have an unspent fertilizers list, right? And as it says down the bottom, it's fertilized 3 out of 400 times. Now that's because there's 3 instances of fertilizer left to be used, and that'll slowly eat away. So as it's using the fertilizer, you will no longer, the fertilized times will go down. As you've just seen, it's gone from 3 down to 2. I'm still digging away. The lag's still doing its lovely little thing. It's quite horrible. There's nothing you can really do about it if it wasn't as laggy, and if they had have not fixed, in quotations, as they did before, they fixed the mining instances, whatever they've done to the hit markers for everything, they've broken the game majorly. Um, but yeah, essentially planting 101, we'll get back to it. Soil porosity needs to be at 30%. We haven't even reached that. On a non-lag, no lag server, if you're doing 0.5 a swing, that's 60 swings. Right? You do more than 0.5 a swing, but this is just making sure it's an iron hoe. It is an iron hoe. The better your hoe, the better the go, basically. Right? So if you get it to 30.32, now if we get our little seed out, see how it's going down, it slowly ticks down. If I build all of these crops while it's 30.20, as you can see, major lag, uncut footage, we're not sugarcoating the game. Alrighty. See? Soil porosity, you cannot plant this crop because we'd let it get below. But all of these other crops, they're growing, they're chilling, they're having a great little time. So what we're going to have to do is get our little hoe out. And I like to just hoe it to like 32%. It usually gives you just enough time to farm all of the seeds in there. Right, and then that essentially, if you have the right conditions, being, now we'll go over to here while we're having a little chat. If you have the right conditions, enough green manure, organic fertilizer, ash fertilizer, and moisture, the crop will come out as a perfect harvest. Now, if you're missing any one of those components, it'll come out as a weak harvest. Now, weak harvests don't seem to drop seeds. Now, seeds come from the planting skill itself. So you're going to need to have, I've got 700 planting skill because I just needed to get this stat. So once you get to 675, increases efficiency of using fertilizer by an additional 100%. So once you get the advanced fertilizer or compost, it was in here, you can type in compost, and get this one, premium compost, it requires a little bit. But when you use it with that perk, it grants 6,000 fertilizer points on each stat. So green manure, organic, and ash. So it's constant, very, very healthy. It's amazing for crops. But yeah, so if you get all of the stats correct, if you get all of the fertilizers correct, your crops will be perfect. You get better seed ratios. Now, that's being said, you still need to have the seed perks. So you gain more crops while harvesting low quality, 3 times seeds while low quality, 3 times seeds while doing common crops. I have this unlocked to 900, but again, I don't need it past that fertilizer perk, really. So these are just bonus ones. But yeah, 3 times harvest when collecting common crops, 100% more crops when collecting high quality. But the seeds is what you really want. So when you get the 3 times premium seeds or the 3 times premium high quality, you can plant and plant and plant for days, which is essentially what I'm doing with all of the low quality seeds at the moment. But I'm only making food for my horses, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. All I need is the low quality seeds, which realistically they should do a breakdown and make it better if you use higher quality product. I'm not too sure on that, but yeah, thanks for that. That's Planting 101.